Good morning/afternoon/evening, everyone. Life is full of uncertainties. No matter how much we plan, unexpected events will always disrupt our expectations. People will misunderstand us, situations will not go our way, and setbacks will arise when we least expect them. The instinctive reaction for many is frustration, stress, or anger. We replay scenarios in our heads, wishing things had gone differently, or we try to control every little detail to force an outcome in our favor. But this way of living leads to constant disappointment. True peace comes from recognizing the difference between what is within our control and what is not, and then choosing to focus only on the former. Think about how much time and energy people waste on things they have absolutely no control over. They worry about the economy, the weather, the opinions of strangers, or whether their favorite team will win a game. They get angry about traffic, complain about the past, or obsess over whether someone likes them. None of these things are within their power to change, yet they allow them to dictate their mood, their happiness, and even their actions. When we become consumed by things outside our control, we surrender our peace of mind to the randomness of life. What then is within our control? The answer is simple: our thoughts, our actions, and our attitude. No one can dictate how we think. No external force can force us to react in a certain way. Our responses are ours alone. Two people can face the exact same setback. One may fall into despair, while the other may see it as an opportunity to grow. The difference is in perspective, in the mindset that has been trained to focus on what is controllable. Imagine someone insults you in public. You cannot control their words or actions. You cannot make them take back what they said. But what you can control is how you respond. You can become angry, retaliate, and let their words ruin your day. Or you can choose to be unaffected, recognizing that their opinion does not define you. By focusing on what you can control, your reaction, you maintain your inner peace. This principle applies to all areas of life. In relationships, you cannot control how others feel about you, but you can control how you treat them. In your career, you cannot guarantee success, but you can control how much effort you put in. In difficult situations, you cannot always control the outcome, but you can control how you approach the challenge. When you shift your focus to what is within your power, you reclaim a sense of agency over your own life. A powerful way to practice this mindset is to develop the habit of asking yourself a simple question whenever you feel overwhelmed. Is this within my control? If the answer is no, let it go. If the answer is yes, take action. If you are stuck in traffic, no amount of frustration will change the situation. But what you can control is your response. Use the time to listen to an audiobook, practice deep breathing, or simply accept the delay without stress. Letting go of what we cannot control is not about giving up or being passive. It is about directing our energy toward things that matter. It is about not allowing external events to dictate our emotions. This does not mean we do not care about the world around us. It means we acknowledge reality as it is and choose to respond wisely. Some may argue that it is difficult to let go of things we care about, and that is true. But the alternative, clinging to what we cannot change, is far worse. It leads to anxiety, frustration, and suffering. When we understand that external events will happen regardless of our wishes, we begin to find freedom. This practice is not easy. It requires constant self-awareness. But over time, it becomes second nature. When something frustrating happens, take a step back and remind yourself, I control my actions. I control my thoughts. I control my peace of mind. Everything else is beyond my power. And that is perfectly okay. Our experience of life is not shaped by events themselves, but by how we interpret them. Two people can go through the same situation and come away with entirely different emotions and lessons. This is because perception is the lens through which we see the world, and that lens determines our reality. The way we think about challenges, setbacks, and even successes affects our emotional state, our decisions, and ultimately the course of our lives. If we learn to master our perception, we gain control over how we experience life itself. Consider a common situation: losing a job. One person may see it as a personal failure, a devastating blow that leads to self-doubt and anxiety. They may become stuck in a cycle of negativity, believing they are unlucky or that the world is against them. Another person, facing the same situation, may view it as an opportunity, a chance to explore new paths, develop new skills, or even start their own business. The event itself is the same, but the experience is entirely different because of perception. Our minds are constantly interpreting the world around us, assigning meaning to everything we encounter. This interpretation is shaped by past experiences, beliefs, and emotions. If we carry a mindset that expects disappointment and hardship, we will see negativity in everything. If we cultivate a mindset of resilience and opportunity, we will find ways to grow even in difficult times. The power of perception is that it influences not just our emotions but also our actions. A person who believes that failure is the end of the road may stop trying altogether, while a person who sees failure as a lesson will keep moving forward. Another example of perception shaping reality is how we handle criticism. If someone criticizes us, we can choose to take it personally, allowing it to hurt our self-esteem. We might dwell on it, feeling insulted or defensive. But we can also choose to see it as feedback, an opportunity to improve, or a reflection of the other person's perspective rather than an attack on our worth. The words spoken to us do not change, but how we interpret them defines our experience. This principle applies not just to challenges but also to everyday life. Imagine walking outside on a rainy day. One person may see it as a miserable experience, an inconvenience that ruins their plans. Another may find it refreshing, an opportunity to enjoy the sound of rain and a reminder of nature's beauty. The rain is the same, but the experience is entirely different based on perception. One of the most powerful ways to shift perception is by asking different questions. Instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can ask, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of seeing an obstacle, we can look for an opportunity. Instead of assuming the worst in people, we can try to understand their perspective. Small changes in the way we think can completely alter how we experience life. Training ourselves to control perception does not mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing the most empowering way to interpret events. It means realizing that we are not victims of circumstances, but creators of our own experiences. It means understanding that happiness, success, and inner peace are not determined by external events, but by the way we see them. Every situation presents a choice. We can choose to view life as unfair and full of hardship, or we can see it as a journey filled with lessons and opportunities. By taking control of perception, we take control of our emotions, our actions, and ultimately, our destiny. Discomfort and hardship are unavoidable parts of life. No one escapes challenges, failures, or pain. Yet, while many try to avoid or resist them, those who embrace them grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Hardship is not something to fear, it is something to face head-on. Because it is through struggle that we develop character, discipline, and the ability to handle anything life throws at us. The modern world is built for comfort. Almost everything around us is designed to make life easier, from instant food delivery to entertainment at the tap of a finger. While convenience has its benefits, it also weakens us when taken too far. People become impatient when things don't go their way, frustrated when they face the slightest inconvenience, and unwilling to endure anything difficult. But true strength does not come from avoiding struggle. It comes from embracing it. When we willingly put ourselves through discomfort, we train our minds and bodies to handle real adversity. This is why physical training, such as exercise or cold showers, is so effective. Not just for physical health, but for mental toughness. A person who pushes themselves to run when they feel exhausted, lift weights when they feel weak, or wake up early when they want to sleep, is training their mind to overcome resistance. These small battles build discipline, which extends to every area of life. If you can endure discomfort in one area, you can handle it in another. Beyond physical challenges, hardship in life is inevitable. Everyone will face loss, rejection, failure, or setbacks. Those who try to avoid hardship only make it worse when it arrives. If a person has never been tested by struggle, even the smallest difficulty will feel unbearable. On the other hand, someone who has repeatedly faced and overcome challenges becomes unshakable. They develop the mindset that no matter what happens, they will find a way through. One of the most powerful examples of embracing hardship is learning to see failure as a teacher rather than an enemy. Many people fear failure so much that they never take risks, never pursue their dreams, and never push themselves beyond what is comfortable. But failure is not the end, it is a lesson. Every great success is built on a foundation of failures that taught valuable lessons. Those who embrace discomfort understand that setbacks are not something to avoid, but something to learn from. Another key part of embracing discomfort is developing patience. Hardship often tests our ability to wait, to endure, and to persist when results are not immediate. In a world of instant gratification, patience is a rare but powerful skill. Those who can persist through long-term struggles, whether in career, relationships, or personal growth, achieve things that others never will. There is also great freedom in embracing discomfort. When we stop running from hardship, we stop fearing it. A person who accepts that life will have pain, failure, and struggle no longer wastes energy complaining or resisting reality. Instead, they focus on adapting, growing, and making the best of every situation. They become mentally free because they no longer see struggle as something to avoid, but as a natural and necessary part of life. Choosing to embrace discomfort does not mean seeking suffering for no reason. It means recognizing that growth comes through struggle and that avoiding hardship only leads to weakness. Those who willingly face difficulty, push their limits, and accept the realities of life become stronger than those who do not. Hardship is not a curse, it is an opportunity. When we are in a world obsessed with approval, recognition, and external validation, it is easy to lose sight of what truly matters. Many people shape their lives around the opinions of others, measuring their success by how much praise they receive or how well they fit into societal expectations. They chase recognition, social status, and material success, believing that these things will bring them happiness. But true fulfillment does not come from validation. It comes from living a life of virtue, guided by integrity, wisdom, courage, and discipline. When we focus on virtue rather than seeking approval, we gain something far more valuable than fleeting praise: inner peace and self-respect. External validation is unpredictable. People's opinions change, trends shift, and admiration can disappear overnight. If our sense of worth is dependent on others, we will always feel insecure, needing constant reassurance. No amount of praise or success will ever be enough, because we will always wonder if we are doing enough to maintain the approval we seek. On the other hand, when we prioritize virtue, we anchor ourselves in something unshakable. We define success not by external rewards, but by the quality of our character. Living virtuously means doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. It means being honest when it is easier to lie, being kind when there is no benefit, and being disciplined even when there is no immediate reward. It means making decisions based on principles rather than popularity. A person who values integrity does not change their morals to fit in. A person who values courage does not back down just because they are criticized. Those who live by virtue understand that their actions should be guided by what is right, not by what will gain them approval. Seeking validation often leads to compromise. People abandon their values to be liked, conforming to expectations that do not align with who they truly are. They may pretend to be someone they are not, suppress their beliefs, or engage in actions they know are wrong, all for the sake of fitting in. But this pursuit is exhausting and ultimately empty. No matter how much they achieve or how many people admire them, they will feel a deep sense of dissatisfaction because they are not living authentically. Virtue, on the other hand, provides a lasting sense of fulfillment. When a person acts with integrity, they can stand tall, knowing they did what was right regardless of the outcome. When they practice wisdom, they make thoughtful decisions rather than impulsive ones driven by the need for approval. When they cultivate discipline, they build the strength to stay committed to their goals rather than being swayed by what others think. And when they embody courage, they are willing to face criticism or rejection if it means staying true to themselves. This does not mean that external recognition is inherently bad. Praise and encouragement can be positive, but they should not be the foundation of our self-worth. When we focus on virtue, we can appreciate recognition without being controlled by it. We can accept criticism without losing confidence. We remain steady, knowing that our value is based on something deeper than external approval. A person who values virtue over validation is free. They do not need constant reassurance because they trust themselves. They do not fear rejection because they know they are living with integrity. They do not feel the need to compare themselves to others because they measure their success by their own principles, not by society's shifting standards. They are at peace, not because they are loved by all, but because they are living a life that they respect. By focusing on virtue, we build a foundation for true success, a success that is not defined by wealth, status, or the opinions of others, but by the strength of our character. When we stop chasing validation and start living by our values, we find a sense of fulfillment that no amount of praise can ever provide. Life is fleeting. No matter how much we try to ignore it, one undeniable truth remains: we will all die. This is not a depressing thought. It is a liberating one. Remembering that our time is limited gives life urgency, meaning, and depth. It reminds us to focus on what truly matters, to let go of trivial worries, and to live fully while we still can. This ancient concept, Memento Mori, or remember you will die, is not meant to instill fear, but to awaken us to the reality that every moment is precious. Most people live as if they have endless time. They postpone their dreams, avoid difficult but important conversations, and allow themselves to be consumed by distractions. They waste years in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, or pursuits that do not fulfill them. They tell themselves that one day they will change, take risks, or follow their passion. But one day is never guaranteed. Death is not a distant event that happens to other people. It is something that could happen at any moment. When we accept this truth, we stop waiting and start living. Remembering death does not mean fearing it. In fact, those who reflect on their mortality often live with more joy and purpose. They do not waste time on grudges or trivial arguments because they understand that life is too short for resentment. They do not chase empty validation or material excess because they know that, in the end, none of it matters. They focus on what is truly important: love, wisdom, kindness, and leaving something meaningful behind. When we are aware of our mortality, we begin to ask better questions. If today were our last day, would we be proud of how we spent it? Are we living in alignment with our values, or are we simply going through the motions? Are we expressing gratitude for the time we have, or are we taking it for granted? These questions force us to confront the reality that every day is an opportunity, a gift that should not be wasted. Death also teaches us humility. No matter how powerful, successful, or wealthy we become, we all meet the same fate. The richest person in the world and the poorest person both leave this life with nothing but the impact they had on others. Titles, possessions, and social status mean nothing in the end. What matters is how we treated people, the wisdom we shared, and the love we gave. When we keep this in mind, we shift our focus from accumulating things to cultivating character. The awareness of mortality can also make us braver. Many people live in fear of failure, rejection, or uncertainty. But when we remember that life is short, we realize that these fears are insignificant. If death is inevitable, then why not take the risk? Why not speak our truth? Why not chase the dream that excites us? Why not live with boldness instead of regret? The worst that can happen is failure, but failure is nothing compared to a life left unlived. One of the most powerful ways to practice Memento Mori is through daily reflection. Imagine that today is your last day. What would you do differently? Who would you reach out to? What would you let go of? By considering this each day, we train ourselves to prioritize what truly matters. We stop procrastinating on the things that give life meaning: love, connection, growth, and contribution. Death is not the enemy. Wasting life is. By embracing Memento Mori, we live with intention, gratitude, and courage. We stop postponing happiness and start appreciating the time we have. Instead of fearing the end, we use its certainty to fuel a life of purpose. Every breath is a reminder. This moment is precious. Live it well. Knowledge alone is meaningless without action. Many people spend their lives reading, studying, and contemplating great ideas, yet they fail to apply them. They admire wisdom but do not embody it. They understand discipline but do not practice it. They know what is right but hesitate to act. Philosophy, no matter how profound, is useless unless it is put into practice. True growth comes not from thinking about change, but from making it happen. It is easy to get trapped in the pursuit of knowledge without ever applying it. People read self-improvement books, listen to motivational speeches, and discuss deep concepts, yet their lives remain the same. They wait for the perfect moment, seek more information, or overanalyze every decision. But wisdom is not gained through endless contemplation. It is earned through experience. Only by taking action do we test our understanding, refine our character, and transform ourselves. A person may study courage for years, analyzing historical figures who demonstrated bravery, dissecting the philosophy behind fearlessness, and understanding how courage works. But if that person never steps outside their comfort zone, never speaks up when it matters, and never takes risks, then all that knowledge is wasted. Courage is not learned by reading, it is learned by facing fear and acting despite it. This principle applies to every area of life. A person who reads about fitness but never exercises remains weak. Someone who studies financial strategies but never invests remains poor. A person who understands emotional intelligence but does not practice patience and empathy remains disconnected from others. It is action, not theory, that defines who we are. The pursuit of perfection often becomes an excuse for inaction. People convince themselves that they need more time, more knowledge, or more preparation before they begin. They fear making mistakes, looking foolish, or failing. But waiting for the perfect moment is a trap. There will never be a time when everything is ideal. The only way forward is to begin now, learn through experience, and adjust along the way. Mistakes are not failures, they are lessons. A person who takes action, fails, and learns is far ahead of the person who never starts. Every great achievement, every moment of personal growth, and every breakthrough comes from stepping into the unknown and doing the work. Even small, imperfect actions are better than endless planning without execution. Discipline is another key aspect of putting philosophy into practice. Many people understand the importance of self-control, consistency, and perseverance. But few actually live by these principles. They know they should wake up early, avoid distractions, and stay committed to their goals, yet they give in to comfort and procrastination. Knowledge of discipline does not create results, only disciplined action does. Integrity also requires action. It is not enough to believe in honesty, kindness, or justice. One must embody these values in daily life. Many people admire moral principles but fail to uphold them when it is inconvenient. They talk about virtue but compromise it for personal gain. True integrity is tested in action, in moments where doing the right thing is difficult. Taking action does not mean acting recklessly. Reflection and understanding are important, but they must lead to movement. Thought without action is empty. Growth comes from applying what we learn, testing our limits, and proving our values through behavior. A life spent only in thought is a life unfulfilled. Philosophy is meant to be lived, not just studied. Ideas are powerful only when they shape decisions and habits. Action is the bridge between knowledge and transformation. Those who take action, even imperfectly, will always surpass those who do nothing but think. In the end, what we know means little compared to what we do. Wisdom without action is wasted potential, and dreams without effort remain illusions. Life rewards those who step forward, who take risks, who put their principles into practice. The world does not change through thought alone, it changes through action. If we want to grow, if we want to live with purpose, we must stop waiting, stop overthinking, and start doing. The time for hesitation is over, the time to act is now.